Support for WMNF comes from listeners like you and Awakening Into the Sun, hosting their 11th annual Spring Festival, a 2-day outdoor event that features live music and yoga, food vendors, indie market with over 100 vendors, and much more. Promoting health and wellness through the art of creative expression, happening at North Stroud Park in St. Pete on March 2nd and the 3rd. You can find more information at awakeningintothesun.org.
Welcome to the Live Music Showcase here on 88.5 WMNF Tampa. I'm your host, Ken Apperson. We are live in studio today with Liquid Pennies. They're about to melt your face off. And if you're not watching the live stream right now, you definitely should, because this is definitely one of the most visually exciting bands we've had in the studio for a long time. I'm not going to tell you why. You have to go find out for yourself. Go to Facebook and search WMNF's Live Music Showcase to join in on the fun in the live stream. But they're here to play some music, and that's what they're going to do. So let's hear it. What's your first song called?
This one's called Triple Sixpence. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Hit it. Welcome to Live Music Showcase. We are live in studio with Liquid Pennies, and it's just starting to kick in, if you know what I'm saying. Welcome, listeners. Liquid Pennies live in studio today. They're, what would we call it? Neo Psych-Rock? Is that the whole
I love
shtick?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, Neo
Perfect.
Psych-Rock. We'll call it that. That sounds good. They're gonna play a whole block of music for you guys coming up here in just a second. But first, before we get into all of the music, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you wonderful people who donated during last week's pledge drive. We made it to just about $500 for Live Music Showcase, but our goal is $1,500. But it's not too late. You can still donate right now. Go to WMNF.org, click donate, and make sure that you direct your donation to Live Music Showcase so that we can get credit for that stuff, because that's what we're trying to do. Help us hit that goal of $1,500. We still have a few weeks left that we'll be able to actually do that. So WMNF.org to make your donation right now. I'll put it in the comments in the live stream as well, which, by the way, if you're not watching the live stream right now, you should be. I'm just saying, you should be. They're losing their minds in here. Things were set on fire during that last set. It was ridiculous. What's the next set?
Metaphorically.
Yeah, of course, not literally. We would never do that, allegedly. What's the next song called?
Well, this next one is our previous single that we put out in November called Name Dropper.
Love it. I love it. Take it away. I'm fired up. Let's go.
Thank you so much. This is our brand new single, Doomed Out. We'll have to stick around to find out. Yeah.
Also, if you are listening live right now, awesome. That means you're listening on 88.5 FM or you're listening on WMNF.org. If you are listening from the future to the podcast, that's also awesome because that means if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, if you link and search Live Music Showcase on Spotify or Apple Music, because we drop new episodes every single week after the show finishes broadcasting live. So that's a hint for anyone who wants to listen to this episode, all of our other episodes at your leisure. Just go to Spotify or Apple Music, just Live Music Showcase. So while the band is getting tuned up for the next song. I just want to remind everyone once again, last week was Pledge Drive. Thank you so much to those of you who donated. If you haven't donated yet, this is your chance. Go to WMNF.org, hit the donate button, and direct your donation to Live Music Showcase. Because that's how we keep the lights on. That's how we keep the studio lit. That's how we keep the cameras running. That's how we keep the microphones hot. Donations from people just like you who are listening right now. And what do you think?
We love public radio, and it's such a valuable thing that for me has been such a great part of my life everywhere I've lived. So yeah, donate to WMNF. It's a great thing, and they've always been so good to us. So I just wanted to shout that out. You guys are amazing. Staff here is great. Always good music. So a worthwhile investment for sure. Yeah.
My favorite thing about this station is the fact that we get autonomy to choose what goes on our shows. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, is that there we go. We have a microphone. There we go. Thank you very much. All right. It sounds like it's working. Okay. I got a new mic. Okay. Here we go. So anyway, like I was saying, autonomy. And also, this is a live show, so you get all kinds of fun live aspects and elements like that. I would bet that the cable on this microphone might need to be switched out. That's probably the thing, because it's got a signal. I can hear it. All right. So what's the next song called? How many do you have left?
We got 3 left.
We got 3 left. Perfect. Let's do one more. Hey. All right. I just lost signal. Go ahead and start.
All right, this one's called Cope. It's coming up on our upcoming album. gonna wait for that one, yeah? Yeah.
Little teaser.
Just a little taste. Just a little tiny taste. All right, welcome to Live Music Showcase. If you're just joining us, my name is Ken Apperson. We are live in studio here with Liquid Pennies, and we're about to get to know them just a little bit. I'm going to turn this little guy back around. You want to set that up so you can speak from it, into it, to it, about it with us? Speaking of, on the topic of speaking of microphones, all right, so let's go around and introduce the band first. Over on the Pearl drum kit, right next to me over here, we have, let's see, Pearson Wicker. Is that right?
Yep, that's it.
That's Pearson. On the clear drum kit, this is all just for reference for those who are listening and not watching the live stream right now, which if you're not watching, you really should be. This is one of our most visually exciting episodes. On the clear drum kit, we have Casey Jones.
How's it going?
Casey Jones over there. On the bass, we have Dylan Carney.
Hello.
Love that bass. Sounds real good. And over there on the lead vocals and the lead guitar, we have Chaz Binns. I said that right?
You did. Howdy.
Yes. All right.
Well done.
We've introduced the bands. Now, whenever we have a band on here that has, we'll say, less conventional music, which I love.
We'll take it.
Lean all the way into that. I'm always curious about influences. Because, a lot of bands, you hear them and it's like, oh, this band clearly listens to The Strokes. Or, oh, this band clearly listens to Britney Spears. We haven't had bands like that in a long time, but you get the idea. What are we listening to that inspires the Liquid Pennies sound?
I would say in general, we all kind of have a wide wide array of stuff that we listen to, and especially, outside of the whatever genre it is that we play, I think, the sound that we have and the music that we try and gravitate towards allows just freedom in we can go a lot of different directions with it, and we're not as pigeonholed to sounding a certain way or people expecting us to do the same thing. Honestly, it seems like people maybe expect us to switch things up more than anything, and that's the expectation. But everything from jazz to all kinds of stuff. I mean, Casey's a big soundtrack guy.
I am. I listen to a lot of soundtracks.
like scores, like movie scores, like Hans Zimmer and Danny Elfman. And
like Layla Shafran is one of my favorites. He wrote the original Mission Impossible theme. It's really good.
Classic.
That is classic. Absolutely.
It's really
You're talking from the show.
Yeah, like the very first orchestrated version of Mission Impossible is incredible. Yes.
So is that what you guys do in between songs when you're at practice?
I mean, I do.
You're over there playing the drum kit, and everyone's like, "Your mission. Should you choose
do we
to
need
accept
to cut
it?"
the red wire?
Yeah.
Just do
I'm
it.
colorblind. What do I do?
Just cut it, dude.
Just cut it. Cut it. So, all right. So, so we have soundtracks. How about?
Yeah, I don't know. I grew up on like punk music, but I'm all over to like psychedelic, electronic, hip hop. That's the beautiful thing. Like Chaz was saying, we're all so varied in our musical tastes. But with Liquid Pennies, we've kind of found a sound, but we can dip into so many genres within that sound. We can, go from real heavy and just left turn into jazz real quick and then crank it back up. And it's kind of fun, like Chaz was saying, to just have, that musical freedom. We don't have to be like sounding this way. It all kind of like has that broad overall appeal.
Yeah.
It sounds distinctly Liquid Pennies.
Yeah.
But whether we're bossa nova or whether it's, blast beats, we can do something with it.
I think it's like a sign of like times we grew up in too. I mean, everything's accessible. So you're not as financially, you don't have to really save up that $20 to buy that one record. You could listen to it and maybe only listen to it for 30 seconds, or it could be your new favorite thing, but it's all out there. And I feel like a lot of music listeners today are able to check out a lot of stuff that maybe, 20 years ago, it would have been a lot harder to do, for better or worse. Maybe you're a little less apt to really deep dive and give it that third or fourth listen. But I think that's kind of a thing too. It's like we have so much access to music, and there's good and bad aspects to every genre. So you can really find those little nuggets within everything, and not think that it's all just this one sound,
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, and we're standing on the cusp of a ravine in terms of a topic, which is, the difference between the way music is consumed now in the year 2024 compared to how it was consumed in 1993, for example, or any time leading up to really 2003. That's kind of the marker that I kind of set, because that's when Napster happened.
When you had to like hand out flyers for a show,
right?
It's the only way that people know that it's happening.
Physically send a press kit to a venue
exactly.
when you tour.
Yeah, and I mean that's true for the music label industry too, because I was actually just talking earlier today about a friend of mine who spent a lot of time in the music industry, and he was in the promotional side of it, the marketing side of it, right? And his big thing was radio marketing, and that entailed physically driving from town to town or flying from town to town, city to city, and physically going into radio stations and physically handing them a single saying, "Play this, please," and then they would or they wouldn't.
Right.
Now it's a single email blast.
Yep.
That's it. Single email blast.
Yep.
All of those stations now have that track, MP3 format.
But they may or may not open that email. I mean, that person going and talking, and depending on their charisma or the situation that, it's a different thing. That tangible human contact is something that we are, losing a bit.
Absolutely.
And we are, slightly more disconnected with technology, and it's harder, I think, even to have like a face-to-face conversation for people because of that.
The double-edged sword of the modern, we'll call it futuristic, because it just is compared to how it was 40 years ago. The modern consumption of music is that one side of that sword is that, well, just about anybody can gain access to a studio, a lot of them can just buy a lot of equipment and do a lot of it themselves.
Cheap laptop and you're good to go.
Cheap laptop
Interface.
and a couple of microphones, or even just an interface, and you're kind of good to go. You're not going to get that high level, but you don't necessarily need that anymore either. But the other side of that coin, access equals saturation.
Right.
And maybe arguably oversaturation.
There's like 80,000 songs a day going on streaming services
new
or something
band
close
starts
to that.
every second.
Yeah, every
We've
second.
got one of those from yesterday, but
just
there's
gonna
a
say.
whole lot of other ones worth checking out too, I'm sure.
And we're going to dive into that, for sure, because that's what I love about doing this show is we have a unique opportunity to expose the Tampa Bay listening audience to some music and some bands that they may have never heard before, or even a sound that they've never heard before that exists right in their own backyard.
Right, and it can be a found. It can be like a found object. You turn your radio on, you're in your car. Someone might right now just have like gotten in their car, rented a car, and it's on 88.5, and they might be hearing our weird music that we make for the first time, and it might be their new favorite thing.
I'll tell you, anytime I rent a car in Tampa, it always goes on 88.5 before I get out.
Gotta do it.
That's one of my little guerrilla advertising strategies right there.
Take
Yeah.
that.
Subversive marketing.
Yeah.
We're really lucky in the Tampa Bay area right now. There's so many good bands firing, too. You could walk into any random show, and I'm sure there's 10 going on tonight, and you're going to see some decent music. We are very lucky with a good talent pool of bands around here right now.
Here's what I want to see in Tampa, and this is a call to action to literally everyone out there that claims to be a music lover. And I'm putting emphasis on the word claims.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Go to a local show.
No way. Not going to do it.
Go to a local show. You claim to be a local music lover. You've got 3 different versions of the Support Local Music t-shirt. You haven't been to a local show in 3 months. Go to a local show. You're going to be blown away by somebody. I guarantee it. Or, worst case scenario, you get to literally meet a band and become friends with a band that's here in the Tampa Bay area. You get to actually be part of the music community, not just a spectator like you are when you go to one of those, big arena shows. Because at the end of the day, you buy your ticket once a year, you go to that show, and you go home, and then you spend the whole rest of the year going, that was a good concert. Meanwhile, we got great bands like Liquid Pennies, who just dropped a new single yesterday, out here in the trenches, trying to get you to come out to a show. So do it.
We're
Go
a
to
lot
a
more
local
fun
show.
live anyways.
That's right. I mean, clearly, like if you're watching the live stream right now, leave a comment to let us know what you think about the dual drum kit setup, because that's what I want to get into next. In a word, why?
Why not?
That's a great rebuttal. That's pretty good.
I mean, honestly, it's really more about having a level of dexterity that I'm not even used to. And so being able to explore that avenue was a challenge enough for me to like, okay, this is obviously something worthwhile, because it gives me that sense of like nervousness. I'm like, well, how are we going to do this? And so now that we're pulling it off, it's just the train is moving and it's not going to stop.
I mean, you're the only dual drum kit band in town that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
There was Set and Setting, I think, at one point.
Okay.
Way back when, I think they were doing dual drums for a little bit.
I've seen the Venus pull it off once
The
or
Venus,
twice.
yeah, yep.
I
Really
don't
good
know if they're
band.
doing
Yeah,
it
when
full time.
Jeremy's around, I think he'll hop in with them.
Great band.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, there's not a lot of that going on. So I think it is something that's exciting for people to see, because it's not a common thing, and visually it's like cool to watch. I mean, even when we're practicing, I just get hypnotized by watching. It's like a synchronized dance, watching their limbs move in sync. So it's really, really visually, every time, it never gets old. So I think people are that aspect of it is cool for people, and just it brings a depth to the songs. And as we're we've been doing this just since this past May or June, we're working into finding more things that we can do that are not able to do with one drummer. So
Sure.
polyrhythms and stuff like that. Bring in some electronic elements as kind of the next step with us.
I was going to
too.
say
So,
triggers. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of options. So it's cool.
Yeah, we got some new tricks coming.
What are as a band and with your sound? Because even though we've been talking about how you're comfortable kind of going off the rails, so to speak. You're comfortable doing things a little weird. It wouldn't be Psych-Rock if you weren't. And to even kind of lump you into a genre is almost doing a disservice. But what are some things that you've tried that you're not willing to do? Basically, musically speaking, are you guys opposed to like having a flautist come in and do
We've
a
had a
flute
violin
solo.
player in
We've
this
had
band
violin
at times.
players.
Yeah, so we played on 2-ish albums with us. I would love, actually, we're going to have a flautist on this next album. Just a spoiler alert, there's going to be one on one of the songs. My buddy, that's going to happen. We've had cello. We've had our friend Z play sax with us on this next song we're going to play, actually, that will come play shows with us. We've had, keyboards. So it's a cool thing in that, too. It can be a little bit more of a collective. And we have kind of shifted between, right now we are playing kind of like a heavier thing, but we've, leaned more towards folk music and like indie rock and so it's I don't know. I don't know if there's a whole lot of stuff I wouldn't be willing to do. I don't know if we'll do reggae.
We'll try anything once.
Yeah.
Musically.
Sounds loaded.
Musically.
Okay. Just making sure. Sounds loaded.
It is.
No pun intended.
Oh, no, it's there. You can't unring that bell. Figuratively speaking. So as far as the... How do I put it? Well, let me touch on one last thing with the drum kits. So one thing I'm watching is a lot of synchronicity. A lot of like playing the same parts. But the thing that people don't realize is that, like in a studio setting, for example, almost every band is doubling the drums as they're recorded, if they're recorded by a single person, because the fullness that brings to the drum sound and to the sound overall, it's kind of necessary to do that. So when you're doing this, I've seen this done a couple of times years ago. I've really only seen it done right, besides today, one other time. And the key is good meter. The drummers just have to have good meter. Yep. And you guys are doing something that's crazy with 2 drum kits. You're doing fluctuating tempo. That's insane. You're insane.
We've got to be in sync. That's the thing. If we can see each other, it's all really working because we're moving at the same pace. Our bodies have a lot of language to it. So
yeah.
It's easy to follow.
And I see you guys kind of watching each other, but I don't see you guys like looking for cues or like what's the next part? Like you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. When a drummer or a bandmate like kind of showed up late to practice the night before and they're trying to figure out what their part was. Oh yeah, that's the part. Oh yeah, I forgot it. So let me ask you this, do you ever catch yourselves catching each other in those moments?
I depend on him a lot.
Right on.
Not true, but yes, true.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, how about you? Do you ever have that issue? You can pull that down if you want to. Yeah. I mean,
no.
No.
Lies.
He's like, no, I'm perfect. Do not press me further on it.
And honestly, both of these two in their own right are such incredible drummers. Like, anybody, ourselves included, would be lucky to have one of them. So to be able to get up here and rip with both of them, it's a privilege for sure. It's a lot of fun.
So when the show's coming up, week of, and one of the drummers falls ill, do you still go ahead as a 3-piece, or do you...
We have not done that yet.
We haven't yet.
We haven't crossed that bridge yet?
Watch out for raw chicken.
Trying not to, but if this guy keeps eating raw chicken, we might just have to.
Oh, you ate some raw chicken?
Missed a practice.
Feathers and all. It was just on the side of the road.
Just on the side of the road. Was it alive? How did the chicken cross the road?
Absolutely. It was alive.
Pearson was there.
To get eaten by Pearson. That's why did the chicken cross the road. No seasoning whatsoever.
No.
Proper white man. That's fine. Okay, feathers and all. Now his stomach feels like a down feather pillow. Oh, yeah. You can just have a little nap. That's good. All right. So before we go, 2 questions. They're a little long form answers, I think. First question is, you guys were on the show last year.
Yes.
I didn't get to host that time. I think I was in Germany.
No, DJ Spaceship did a great job taking care of us.
DJ Spaceship.
He's awesome. Love DJ
saw him when we
Spaceship.
came in today. So.
He looked out. He filled in for me a couple of weeks ago when I was out sick. So thanks. Shout out to DJ Spaceship for holding down the fort while I was gone. Thanks a lot, man. But so in that time, between then and now, what have you guys done that you're most proud of?
Probably these two right here.
Doomed Out is the best.
Okay.
Both of these singles that we put out have been really, really great.
Very cool.
We opened for Mike Watt in October, which was really cool. We've been on his radio show, 3 times, but actually got to hang out with him and share a bill with him, which was that's definitely was really an honor. And he stayed over at Dylan's house.
He was impressed by the two drummers. He told me he tried it in front of like 20,000 people in 1996, and it went terribly, so he never tried it again.
I'm saying, man, it can either be
Yeah,
great
he said he was pretty impressed.
or a train wreck.
Yeah.
There's no in between. Truly.
Tried that once in
All right,
95.
that's on stage accomplishments. What about backstage accomplishments? You guys all got girlfriends? First of all,
Married 10 years.
10 years married.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
do, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not engaging in extracurricular activities.
Nah, we're
No.
focusing on writing an album.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
There you go.
More fishing.
Keep the focus.
More fishing. Yes,
Like
that's
that.
what I'm doing right now. That's exactly what I'm doing right now.
yeah.
Fishing for trouble. No, that's good to know. That's good to know. And so the second question is, what are you excited about 2024? What do you guys have coming up?
We have, we're working on a full-length album,
Yeah.
and that'll be our first vinyl release, which that'll be really cool. We've done stuff on cassette and CD, and this will be our fourth full-length. But, yeah, so we're really excited to have a full, like, tangible vinyl record, because huge vinyl fans. So, yeah, that'll be awesome. We're doing a little run-up to Asheville in early May, and so that'll be cool. Going back up there, we did a little East Coast tour last year, so try and hit the road again, and yeah, so that's what we kind of have coming up over the next like 6 months.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Love a band with goals. Love a band with plans. That's so important, you know, because you can sit and write music till the cows come home. And maybe if you're the type that can do that just endlessly, then that's awesome. But a lot of people need something to be working towards, working, you know, it's like, okay, we're writing this music. Where's it going to go? What are we going to do with it? You know,
Yeah.
especially if you're not like, you know, in your 20s and all you're dying to do is just be on a stage. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I love it. It's great. It's awesome. Liquid Pennies, if you're just joining us right now, you're listening to Live Music Showcase. We're listening to Liquid Pennies. They're about to play another song. Before they do, I want to open up the phone lines as though they weren't open already, but now you're aware of them. You can call in for our AMA, which is called Ask Musicians Anything. It's a new segment since last time you guys were on the show. You call in, ask our board op Charlie any questions that you want to ask for the band. I know we had one question in the comments already asking about where you guys are playing coming up.
We're at the Benz tonight.
Tonight.
In St. Petersburg.
Oh,
With
man.
Domino Pink and Charlie. Yeah, it'll be a good vet. Or there's a state competition going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. come
Domino
out to the
Pink
Benz,
is awesome.
Downtown St. Pete
I
tonight.
love Domino Pink. They're amazing.
Love it, love it. So they're playing tonight at the Benz in St. Pete, which is like a legendary kind of. What do you call it? It's not
It's
quite
a dive.
30 people,
It's a
crams
dive.
the space.
Yeah.
If you want to see a local band right in front of you, like sweating on you and just a lot of energy in a tiny room, it's a place for it.
You guys are doing one of my favorite things to see a band do, which is that this is one of the rules of thumb that I tell all the bands. Every band, every young band especially, they all want to play the big stage. You know, they want to play the Floridian or they want to play at the Ritz, you know. And I tell them, I almost said the pageant, that's in St. Louis, Janus. And I tell them all the same thing. Can you sell 800 tickets?
Right.
Or 1,000 tickets? Or 2,000 tickets? And the answer is no, then you don't want to play those rooms. Because if you play that room and you don't sell those tickets, you're probably never going to play that room again.
Yeah.
For sure. I'd rather have 20 energetic people all on top of me instead
Sell-
of 200 in a 1,000 cap venue.
Sell out that show. Even if it's 30 people, sell that out for two reasons. One, because that means you played a sold out show. And that looks great on anything you send to any kind of press materials you send to an agency, a management company, any kind of booking agency that might help you with a national tour, et cetera, et cetera. The other reason is because anybody that takes any photos at that show, they're going to be epic. They're going to look awesome. Shoulder to shoulder, probably some crowd surfing, knowing this kind of sound, I would imagine it's going to be awesome. So, Liquid Pennies at the Benz tonight. Call in if you want to ask them any questions that you want to ask them. The number is 813-239-9663. That number again is 813-239-9663. Or you can send an email to the station dj@wmnf.org. dj@wmnf.org with any questions or comments that you want to share with Liquid Pennies. I will read those as soon as they finish this next song, and they'll take us out of the show after that. So,
Awesome.
take it away.
This one's called Hyperbolics.
Liquid Pennies here on Live Music Showcase. That is our show. Sound mixer today is Joe Remo. Audio assistant today, Pam Robinson and Patty Marsters. Video director Ed Lehman. Camera operators are Marcy Connors and Lisa Reuter and Charlie Cushing. Nope, that's our board op. Sorry, Charles Holzhoppel's is over there in the corner. We got two Charlies on this show. My name's Ken Apperson. I'm your host. We are on this station, WMNF, every Friday at 2 p.m. here on Live Music Showcase, bringing you Tampa Bay and beyond's best top talent ever. Genre be damned. We bring whoever we want in here. That's for sure. So we just have a few seconds left. If you guys want to take us out with one more song, we'll do the. We will do the Ask Musicians Anything on the live stream. We'll keep the show going. If you want to hear this entire song, you have to go to WMNF on Facebook, WMNF's Live Music Showcase. Take it away, you guys. Take us out.
This one's called Content.
This is WMNF Tampa.